Chuck Clark, during his media availability this week, had a warning for the rest of the NFL why they shouldn't overlook him. And I believe him. We'll discuss. Let's roll.
Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field Gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show. Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor Gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
Hey, what's poppin', everybody? Paul Liston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your friggin' podcast, people. And yes, we heard from Chuck Clark this week, who did some media availability. And during that, he was a little bit blunt about how things ended with the Baltimore Ravens. And again, we also have a full column about this story. This is in the YouTube description down below. And here's the gist on all of this. Last year, the Jets trade a 2024 seventh round draft choice to the Baltimore Ravens for Chuck Clark. Basically, they gave the guy away because they signed Marcus Williams to that 5-year deal for $70 million, a player that reportedly the Jets were interested in. And then, of course, they drafted Kyle Hamilton, a Green Beans guy, with the number 14 overall pick in the first round. And then ultimately, he became expendable. And Chuck Clark requested a trade. He was like, see ya, suckers, I want out of here. And the Jets were the beneficiary, getting him for basically nothing. And like I said, a seventh-round draft choice. And then the crappy part we hear about this week, we knew that he got injured in OTAs last year, tearing his ACL. What we didn't know is Robert Saleh told us at his media availability this week that Chuck Clark tore his ACL on the last play of the last practice of the last OTA. Brutal, man. Absolutely brutal. For this guy to go through that level of adversity, one play, this or that, he's healthy and he plays this year. And that probably changes a lot of different stories. You think about the ripple effects. And we often talk about the NFL. If you do this, what changes happen? Does Tony Adams become the standout that everyone says? The pick six in the Eagles game and all that jazz. Ashton Davis in his utility role and maximizing that. Jordan Whitehead, who knows? All these different things could have possibly happened if Chuck Clark doesn't get hurt. He does, and the Jets are able to bring him back on an insane discount, a 1-year deal for $2 million. Unbelievable for Chuck Clark. And I think a lot of us, and I'll put my hand up, I was excited about the move. We talked about the move on Boy Green Daily, and I was excited about it and giddy about it and things of that nature. But I'll be honest, even me, I think we're all kind of overlooking Chuck Clark. We all say all the time, safety position, that's a need. We need another guy, Justin Simmons or whoever these other guys are. And that name's fun for obvious reasons, of course. Why wouldn't you want like a Justin Simmons? But boy, Chuck Clark, he was a guy that started out as a role player of the Ravens, eventually became a full-time starter. He had 1,000 consecutive plus snaps for a 3-year period before he came to the Jets. He's a sound tackler, which I think is one of the more underrated parts of his game. I mean, that's the thing I'm excited for, is when you get players to the first, second, third level of a defense, you need a sound tackler, a guy that could just get the opposing man down on the turf. That's critically important, especially in this defense. So, Chuck Clark is going to be a welcomed addition back there, and he has a chance to kind of reset everything. He's dirt cheap right now. I have the article up. I think he is the 44th highest paid safety in football right now. I believe that's the number I counted up on Over the Cap. Let me double check that. I'm pretty sure that old Chuck Clark here is number 44 on that list, which, by the way, is friggin' wild that he is that low. Yeah, it is 44th highest paid safety in football, which is an insane friggin' number to consider for old Chuck Clark there. But again, it's a deal for 2024, and then potentially have some opportunities to change the conversation. If he plays well, he's going to get the bag from somebody, because he's still a very, very talented player. The versatility is a big help. The leadership is a big help. He's played for a Ravens organization. Let's play the clip. This is also featured in the story down below, but let's hear from Chuck Clark on how the things ended with the Ravens, where basically they replaced him, Marcus Williams, Kyle Hamilton, and then they just gave him away to the New York Jets. It sounds like Chuck Clark hasn't forgot that.
Chuck, last year when we talked to you, you talked about being fired up. This is before the injury, just kind of how things went down in Baltimore and all that. How do you approach this year? I mean, is there like a different type of proving people wrong now at this point? What's your approach?
I mean, I ain't forgot about that. I still got that chip on my shoulder, but I think, going through that injury process, it just gave me a new gratitude and gratefulness for this game, so I still got a lot to prove, I missed the whole year, so I got a lot to prove from that sense. People are like, oh, he missed the year, he lost his stuff. Yeah, all right, watch. So, I mean, it's a lot of stuff I got to prove,
You kind of just, all right, you just said it, but how much do you feel like you have left in the tank right now?
A lot. And I think that's the crazy thing. It's like, I missed a year, but you have a lot of thoughts going in your head like, man, it's going to year 7, you tear your ACL, probably one of the worst things that could happen that we think of as players. And it's like, that happened. But I knocked that process down, and I'm back, and I'm like, all right, cool. That was it. That was ACL, so, yeah.
And by the way, Dakota, if you're right, it's a commenter on YouTube. Chuck Clark is a top 10 safety in the league when he's healthy. If that's true, the Jets are getting the number 44th highest paid safety in football at a top 10 safety level, which, by the way, would be friggin' spectacular, quite frankly, if we end up getting those kind of results from him. And, with Chuck Clark, what's kind of interesting when you kind of evaluate his story in particular. So he tears his ACL during OTA. So it's, we're hovering around the year mark. OTAs kind of float, but so basically a year ago, he tore his ACL out for the season. And Chuck Clark could have just went home and rehabbed privately or wherever he wanted to, but he stayed here the whole time, Robert Saleh said. He stayed here the whole time. He worked out with the team. He's around the team. And Chuck Clark kind of explained that a little bit during his full press conference, which, by the way, you can check out on NewYorkJets.com. Feel free to check that out. And you can see the full presser. It's like 10 minutes or something with the media. And he explained why he wanted to be around the team. He thought this team had special, qualities and that he could help them. And he said he wanted to be around them. He wanted to hear things, even though he was on a 1-year deal. And, that he could go to a different team. He said he didn't worry or think about any of that. So he was happy that the Jets wanted him back, and he's ready to prove the doubters wrong. There's a massive chip on his shoulder. There's a chip on his shoulder for the torn ACL, where he says, all right, you think I've lost a step, I'll show you. And number 2, the way the Baltimore Ravens just kind of, no pun intended, chucked him aside and threw him out there. So he's, again, I just feel like hopefully during this summer, we'll have a couple of these show opportunities like Chuck Clark today. We just get to dedicate some time to Chuck Clark. I got another guy we'll talk about in a few days, too. We'll see how it all lines up. We also have Will Parkinson, by the way. He'll be joining me and Woody live at 3 o'clock later today to get some juicy deets on the latest happenings on One Jets Drive. Looking forward to that conversation. You guys can check us out then as well. But I hope we could shine a light on some other players on the roster during the summer that perhaps aren't getting love. And Chuck Clark would certainly, namely, be one of those guys. He's a very talented guy, leader, and as Jackson Valente says right here, ask all Ravens fans, they love Chuck Clark. He is a warrior. He's all of it. He checks off all the boxes. So we'll see. And it's low risk, high reward, obviously. If Chuck Clark has complications from the torn ACL, then okay, it was $2 million. If on the other side, some believe that he's going to be a top 10 safety in the league when healthy, whoa, Jets got a pretty good deal for a team that has championship aspirations. So, again, I will be rooting for Chuck Clark really, really strongly. All right, random notes, by the way. We got like 300 people in the room. Let me give a shout out here to my boy Jared B. Okay, you people have asked, and we finally delivered. Long overdue. In the YouTube description down below is a direct link to the Boy Green shop. Okay, and we put a bunch of new stuff in there last night. Jared B mentioned some of them here: coffee mugs, shirts, and you bet, Jared, and I'm glad. And I'll give you guys a little sneak peek here. I'll throw you in the shop. But like I said, there's a direct YouTube link down below that'll bring you in the shop. It's also my YouTube About section. We got hats, Boy Green Coffee Club, which is what we're calling it, Boy Green Daily Coffee Club. We got camping mugs and normal mugs, ceramic or metal, and a couple of shirts. Gonna lose your gosh darn bananas hats. So all of these items, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, are all new. T-shirts, long sleeves. Again, the camping mug, normal ceramic mug, hat, and there's a couple of different color options on a lot of the stuff. So hopefully you guys can check it out. Want to support the show in a different way. The free way to contribute, of course, is liking the video and hitting subscribe. So we appreciate that. If you want to get some merch and support the show, this is our morning coffee club. It's been named by the people. So it's cool if you guys can show your support and dive in. We had a bunch of orders last night. I really appreciate everybody. We were making some announcements in the YouTube community channel. So moving forward, we'll have that direct link in all our YouTube videos going forward so you guys can dive in. And I'm working on some other fun stuff for the shop. There's a fun shirt idea, but I want to make sure I get it right. So you guys may see that in the near future. So keep an eye out for that. Boy Green Shop, baby. I ordered some of the gear myself. I'm like, okay, baby, let's wear some of that. So thank you, Jared B, for making some orders last night and some others. And Double R, no, I'm not usually late, but, a lot of hoopla running around this morning. But I'm glad I'm here. Let's see. Yeah, that's probably what happens when I don't do coffee. Like button, hit it, baby. And as Jackson Valente says, baby, it's game day. And I will be switching into proper gear for the radio show today. We've got on my radio show a full preview of the NBA Finals. Both of our guests, Celtics and Mavs insiders, are live there at TD Garden. That will be covering the game tonight. So I'm looking forward to that on my radio show, the Man Shout Show, with Boy Green and Syracuse. We'll be talking NBA Finals. And also, we'll be talking about who had this. Yeah, Alan. You guys seen this Dan Hurley Lakers stuff? What the flying hoot? Like, JJ Redick was making a joke yesterday in a podcast, like, yeah, wink, wink, the job's mine. And now we get this Woj bomb, which, this isn't an NBA show, but hey, what the hey? Let me just pull that up real quick. Unfriggin' believable. Wow. I just, this is just crazy that Dan Hurley, the back-to-back UConn champ, and here it is. We'll throw this up on the screen here so you guys can see this. This is absolutely bonkers. We all think it's JJ Redick. We're like, all right. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the RKO out of nowhere, Lakers are targeting Connecticut's Dan Hurley to become the franchise's next coach and are preparing to offer a massive long-term contract to bring the back-to-back national champion to the NBA. Preliminary contact. He's been the front runner, although no one has been talking about it. None of the insiders. Wow. So a lot of jazz here, which is crazy because Dan Hurley is like, I'm not going to the NBA. And then the Lakers job and then a pile of money. All right, you bastards, I'll come. So, wow, fascinating. And then they do this on day one of the NBA Finals. Interesting timing. LA Lakers. So there you go. Wow. Massive, massive, massive news. Interesting. I don't know, man. If I was old Hurley, although the Lakers job has a lot of prestige, it's a historical job and a pile of money. So right off the highest highs of winning back-to-back championships and skip out of town, I can understand that. But also winning three-peat, which is incredibly difficult. Obviously, that would be entertaining too. But the Lakers job, I guess I can't blame the man. Go get your bag, pal, and he certainly did. Let me keep going through our questions here. Jerby, yeah, so flex hats, not an option. They have a bunch of hat options, but, as a hat aficionado myself, I really want to love the hat, to have the hat. And a lot of them are like, you kind of have like the buckle. I'm not an old school buckle guy. They have some of those options in there. But, I mean, I can offer those for other people if people are really digging. I'm not normally a big trucker hat guy, which is what it is, the Boy Green hat. But if you guys prefer other options, I can offer them for different hats. But no, there's no flex fit, which is my favorite. That's the one I'm wearing right now, where you get like a size, small, medium, large, or large, extra large, or whatever the sizes are. Like I prefer the flex fit personally, but no. There is no just true flex hat, but I can throw some other options out there. Jets Afterburners podcast. Do you have any soup bowls? I do not, but they have some weird stuff in there that you can put the logo on. So I might, just for the hilarity, I might just throw random things in there. All right, Lee Vance says he's got the Mavs in 7. Well, that'd be entertaining for the casual NBA fan if we get pushing 7. Dakota Dallas in 6 or 7. Okay, all right, we'll get some NBA here on Boy Green Daily. Luka Magic, Kyrie Unstoppable. They would show the Celtics. Boston has no bench. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Their starting 5 is pretty good, though. Dallas might... Oh, geez. Dakota. Dallas might take Boston in 5. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Gross. I like a snapback. Yeah, no snapback option either, which is an old school favorite of mine. I am a old school favorite of a snapback guy. But no, not there. But I will continue to look through and provide options. But if there are things that you guys want, feel free, either on the YouTube community page where you see I'm talking about a lot of the merch. If you could kind of slide in there and request things and ask, like hats or this or that or whatever the hell you want, I will continue to look to see if it's in there. Let's see. Oh, we got a question here. Jared B says, Paul, what's your all AFC East team, including coaches? My all AFC East team, including coaches. Like every position, the best at the position? Is that what you're saying, Jared? And while you're answering that, I'm going to throw the call-in link to the show here real quick while you answer that question for me. Let's see here. Let's go. Okay, let me put this right here. Okay, beautiful. All right, great. Here is the video call-in link that's being dropped in there right now. All right. Video call-in link. All right. There it is, everybody. Nope, not that one. Okay, here we go. And pin message. There you go. If you guys would like to call into the show, that is the opening to do so. So, like, let's see. Let's try to go through here. Although he's firmly on the hot seat right now. So it can't be, for head coach, you can't go Robert Saleh, not proven. Mike McDaniel for the offense stuff, but he hasn't beaten anyone. Patriots Rameo's no. So I guess Sean McDermott, from continuity standpoint, he turned around the Buffalo Bills organization. He'd probably be my head coach. Easily, Jeff Ulbrich is your defensive coordinator. I would love to put Mike McDaniel as offensive coordinator, but that's kind of fantasy land, I guess. Yeah, Hackett is available. That's good. But yeah, McDermott would be the head coach for sure. Jeff Ulbrich would definitely be the defensive coordinator. Oh yeah, Brant Boyer is the special teams coordinator. That's not close. And then let's see, offensive coordinator. Joe Brady. Alex Van Pelt. Yeah, I guess Joe Brady. Yeah, I don't feel great about that from a coaching perspective, but that rounds out the coaching staff. Yeah, you're saying Mike McDaniel, Jared, but I don't think we can like play and put then. Okay, Sal is my defensive coordinator. This guy's this guy. You know what I'm talking about? So, but that would probably be the coaching staff. Quarterback, I'm taking Rodgers, but I understand that people take Josh Allen. Like, I believe in Rodgers, baby. So he'd be there. Breece Hall, come on. Let's get with it. Garrett Wilson, G-Dub, Tyreek Hill. How many receivers do I get? Like, man, this could be a very long conversation. A very long conversation. I'll have to dive into those juicy deets at a different point. All right, let's go to this guy as we go to the call-in line, which, by the way, is available on youtube.com/boygreen25. It is the pin message. If you'd like to call into the show, click that and feel free to hop on in. Let's go to this guy. It's been a few shows. We got Gator joining us on the news. What's up, Gator?
What do you say, buddy? How are you?
I'm good. And by the way, it's so nice of you. All the stuff you've been doing for Bobby, who's been singing your sweet praises on the show. Very nice of you, man.
Yeah, he's putting in the hours, boy. Let me tell you.
Yeah, that's for sure.
He's making all the hard-working Jet content creators look lazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with how many hours? I don't even know if is he sleeping on stream? What's happening? There's like a 24/7 stream going on there.
A couple of days ago, he called into Jake. I hesitate to say that he was inebriated, but I think he was just tired. He was literally like trying to hold up his head, I think.
Good Lord. Wow.
But we're all fans, and yeah, I'd love to see him. He's bringing like incredible amounts of callers together at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had a call
So
the other day.
cool.
It was like 7 or 8 different regulars on there chatting away.
Good Lord. Wow.
Yeah.
That's dedication.
Yeah, man.
Well,
Hey,
shout out
so
to him.
something did pop into my mind. I was curious.
Sure, yeah.
So let's say that you could hang out for a weekend with two people, and one of them's going to be a current Jet,
Okay.
and one of them's going to be a current NFL football player, but not a Jet. Who would you hang out with that weekend? I'm sure most people's number one is going to be the same, but I'll hang up and listen as I walk my pooch.
All right,
And
beautiful.
I'm curious who you would hang out with.
Okay, I like that. Gator, thanks for the call, brother.
Take care, buddy.
All right, there he is. Interesting. Who would I hang out with that is a current Jets player and a current NFL player that's not a member of the Jets? So keep your comments coming, guys. You guys, I'll tell you, it's not CJ Stroud. Anywho, yeah, get your comments going on who you guys would think. So, okay, for me, if I'm hanging out with somebody, there are two ways to hang out in my mind. You're fangirling where you're like, ooh, wow, it's Aaron Rodgers. He'd be an interesting listen. He'd be an interesting hangout. And then like you could do that from like, the most interesting man in the world fangirl, like, oh my God, I've loved this person forever. Or could have a funny conversation. You want like fun people. Like Quentin Williams seems like a really funny guy. But I'll be honest, I have to go. The guy I'm going to go with on the current Jets is Sauce Gardner. He is friggin' hilarious, man. I just heard him on the Greenlight podcast with, Chris Long and all those guys, and man, he is just funny. He is really funny. He is like funny even when he's not trying to be funny. He's funny, and again, that would be a fun conversation as well. So Sauce would be on there for the fun factor, the cool factor. He's Sauce. He kind of has this gravitas about him, some swag. So Sauce Gardner would be my current Jet, and then outside, just an NFL person. And I am a big fan of the NFL. Wow. There's just so many potential options. Like, as I'm kind of racking through my brain here, I'm a big fan of CeeDee Lamb. He'd be a cool guy. Is there someone funny? Could I go quarterback? Do I go a different position? Do I balance it out and get like an offensive guy, potentially? All right, so I'm looking through. Ooh, Michael Clemens and Deion Dawkins. That's a funny one. Card Cave Central. I like that one. Okay. Life discussion, Curtis Martin. I think he has to be a current NFLer, but if not, then yeah, or Nick Mangold. These are some good choices. Oh, Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, he seems like an honest guy. NY Jets FL who's giving the Mahomes thing. Not an honest guy. That's not what I mean. Like he is honest, it seems, but no, I mean like you're just like genuine. From everything I'm hearing. Like hearing is apparently he's been given a gift to Troy Polamalu and his children like every month for like years, and because they met on the dandruff commercials and Head and Shoulders and wow, so he just seems like a genuine guy. So yeah, that Mahomes would be up there, sure. I'm trying to think of any other interesting. Yeah, I guess I go Sauce Gardner and Patrick Mahomes. That's probably a good list. Let me see if there's anyone else I'm missing. I'm just going to look at the NFL standings and try to see just if some players just come to mind. It's let me see here. Okay, so the Cowboys, Giants get lost. Saquon Barkley would be a cool guy. He'd be in the conversation. Myles Garrett, yeah, he'd be a cool guy. He's into a lot of stuff outside of football. That'd be different. Boy. Packers. Yeah, I'm not bringing Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love back together. Sorry, that's not on my bag. Stefan, no thanks. Anthony Richardson, no thanks. someone else I'm forgetting. Bijan Robinson seems like a fun guy, so I could go offense, defense, get him and Sask Adna together. That's always possible. And yeah, but okay. After looking through, yeah, I'll stick with it. I'll go Sask Adna and Patrick Mahomes. There you go. Oh, good question. Good question. Very good question, Gator. Very nice. Yeah, because you can make a lot of interesting choices for Jets. And that's a good point. Jared B says you could talk Jets with Saquon, which is true. You could go in that direction. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers and CJ Stroud. That's a good choice. But yeah, I mean, the more I think about it, it'd be yeah, again, there's a lot of fun Jet choices, but non-Jet, there's again, you have 31 teams to pick from any position, and there's funny guys, serious guys, interesting guys. Yeah, there's just kind of a collection plate of interesting guys. So yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, I like that. You guys are funny. I love your comments. Oh, this is funny. Oh, Curtis Martin. Yeah, like I said, there's some bigger names here that are great, and those would make a lot of sense. That's for sure. Okay. Well, you guys can continue to check out the column that is in the YouTube description down below. So feel free on the article and also the Boy Green shop. Those are direct links to both of those. And we appreciate you. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe, show all your love. We appreciate it. And we'll sign off because we'll be back on here in a handful of hours. We'll be coming up with Will Parkinson at 3 o'clock. Thanks to the 500 people that were in the room. We appreciate you. We'll be signing off early here. And like I said, we'll be back live at 3 o'clock. Hopefully you guys can check us out then with me, James Woody, and of course, Will Parkinson. We'll see you guys then. Take care. Thanks everybody for checking out the shop. It's meant a lot, and thanks for supporting.